Hi, this is Larry Hankin. Oh, I'm an actor. You've seen me thousands of times, but I can't talk this. But anyway, you're listening to Still Toking With on the Dorkening Podcast Network.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
But thank you all for joining us. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Do you have a hankering for horror knowledge?
We have such sights to show you.
Do you require raging retro reviews? Do you desire discussions with devastatingly dashing dorks? The Dorkening Podcast Network has nearly 30 shows to satisfy all of your nerdy, geeky, and dorky needs. From horror reviews and celebrity interviews.
Hi, I'm Adam Green, the director of the Hatchet films and the star of Holliston.
Hi, this is Dominic Pace, who played the bounty hunter Gecko from The Mandalorian.
Hi, I'm Mike Price. I'm a writer on The Simpsons. I co-created F is for Family.
Hi, guys. This is Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo.
Hi, my name is Kurando Mitsutake, director of Gun Woman and Karate Kill.
Hi, this is Samantha Newark, the voice of Jem and Jerrica from the original Jem and the Holograms cartoon series.
As well as nostalgic trips into the past, pop culture, the latest in entertainment news, and so much more. Featuring a variety of shows and hosts that will simultaneously enrage, enlighten, and entertain you. Check out the Dorkening Podcast Network.
My mom says I'm cool.
Available on iTunes, Spotify, thedorkening.com, and wherever fine podcasts can be found.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Still Toking With. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard. And as always, Benjamin, you got a friend with you.
I do.
Bennett.
Look who it is.
It's
We're
Scoops.
not clowning around tonight, folks.
No, we're not clowning around tonight.
Yeah.
You're stuck with the boring half.
I'm stuck with the boring half of Scoops, as he says. Yeah. We, as you can see, we're actually on location down at Diamond Production Studios. Usually we come live from Diamond, the office area, but Z Dead End is in town as well, filming, and they're doing a production meeting. So we gave them the
cool room.
The cool room, the cool room with all the Emmys and stuff.
We're in the lunchroom.
We're in the lunchroom, yeah, exactly. But hey, that's all right, because we have a kick-ass show tonight, man.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Jeff's not here tonight. Jeff fell down and went boom.
Yeah, he rolled himself into a little situation.
He's resting. So no, he wanted the night off. So he said, hey, Scoops. He said, hey man, why don't you fill in for me? And we got a killer guest tonight, man.
Right.
This guy is betting
a lot
of shit, right?
A lot of shit.
Not shit, but really good stuff.
Breaking Bad,
right?
Home Alone,
Friends.
He was in Friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never watched
Escape from Alcatraz.
I did watch that. I never. Watched
we could sit here for literally the next hour without even bringing him on.
He's got 194 actor credits.
Right. Started all the way back, and I believe it was 1966 or 1967 with the TV series.
A little jealous.
A little jealous.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to announce him?
No, you can.
You're gonna let me do it?
Yeah.
Really?
You're better at it.
Oh well. So, in case you haven't figured out who we're talking about, or if you don't follow us, which you really should, we have Mr. Larry Hankin joining us tonight.
Whoops! You caught me off guard. I'm just turning off my phone here. Okay, it's off. Cool. Now I'm ready. Okay, cool. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
Same to you. Welcome to my place. And I'm welcome to your place. This Zoom is great, or SteamYard anyway. It's cool.
Oh yeah, they're all the same. Yeah.
We should make that.
Yeah, I like that.
Right.
Sorry,
you were talking. I just was coercing with my co-host for a second here.
Okay. Well, coerce away.
You know how we operate. I mean, we get an idea, and
Right.
It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Hey, we should do this.
Right.
We should do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we should talk to the guest.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Carry on. I'm a guest. I don't have to do anything. I'm a guest.
Well, you're the guest of honor. So tonight's all about you, Larry, and we hopefully we'll be able to get some awesome stories out of you. But for those of you that are watching, we got a ton of people watching right now. But everybody knows who you are. But for those that do not, would you like introducing yourself?
How dare them?
Right?
You don't know who I am? What the heck is going on?
That's what I want to know.
Right? If they don't know who you are, they've been living under a rock for a long time.
Yeah. Although I found out that you always like to be first. At least I always like to be first, because I'm tall. I'm very tall. I'm 6'4". And growing up in kindergarten, public school and high school, you always had to line up. For we're going outside, line up, and it was always sized places. And I'm the tallest. I was always the tallest. So I was always last. It was like, bugging me. Always last. Size places. Once I'd like to be first. Once, but no, it never happened. So that's where that comes from.
You're first tonight.
Thank you. All right. Made it.
First and foremost.
Right.
Long time coming, man. I'm telling you.
I can't understand why it took so long. I mean, you've done literally everything under the sun.
Well, I guess I find that out from doing podcasts. I don't follow me, so it's always kind of a surprise that people know more about me than I do. But yeah, the thing that blows my mind is not how many or what I've done, but the fact that whatever I have done is never off the air. Because it's just there's so many. What do you call it? Platforms, and outlets and stuff all over the world. So that I get these weird residuals for like $4 or $1.95 from Thailand. It is really weird. But I'm willing to bet that I am never off the air somewhere on this planet. As a lot of other, sitcom members are, like people on Friends or people on Seinfeld or the big ones,
Right.
I just saw a thing on the internet where they had the 50 most popular TV shows ever.
Right.
And they were all sitcoms. And some from, there was like 2 or 3 black and white ones. They're still popular. And then there was, and I thought Friends would be the most popular because I'm on that and I get a lot of fan mail from that. But no, it was like maybe 34th. It's just really weird.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I was looking. I was watching. Hey, when is Friends coming? Hey, man, let's go.
Right.
But no, and they're all like old shows from like the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. They're right up there. So it's really amazing. That's the only amazing thing about the internet is the repetition, and you never go off the air.
Right.
Amazing.
What's
and I guess now podcasts are the same way now. Everybody's doing podcasts. It's amazing.
Are you doing a podcast?
I was thinking of it. I've been approached to do one, and the Patreon thing. I have this thing on Patreon. I was talking to Ben about that before we went on the air. Yeah, there's I have a guy who is putting up all my. I made for the last 7 years. I kind of ducked out of working for the system, and I just been working for friends and doing my own movies. So I've done about 30 or 40 in the last 7 years of my own little film shorts. And now I'm being approached to put them up. So they're being put up. Everything I've done in the last 7 years of my own, written and produced of my own, is going up on Patreon. So, I mean, it never stops. The internet is hungry, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a beast that will not stop. And then the other thing, the opposite is it's a selling machine. It's unfortunately, wow, it doesn't stop. It's a glutton, buy this, click here. Wow. So I stopped doing that, buying this and click here. I purposely just said, okay, no more internet. I will not click on anything that's free or on the internet, just Facebook and one or two friends, and that's it. And I did that for a month, and my savings account just started to go up. Just because just for $2 and $5, and hey, get this, and get this for free for a month, and then you forget about it. So you're locked in then. So I stopped for a month, and it was just amazing how much money I saved.
So what you're saying is you're like most of the general public, and you have at least one room full of useless crap that you never use.
No, I have useless craps on my internet that I don't even know I bought. I can't even find them because I signed up for free for a week and forgot about it, and then it's still there, and every once in a while, and some I signed up for automatic payment, so I don't even know. I mean, it's really, I'm complaining to my accountant saying, hey, we got to just check this stuff because I don't know what the hell I got on here. Because I only use one or two, but, and I'm locked in and I don't know. Yeah, it's really
well. It's gotten bad. It's gotten bad when they have services now that you can sign up for to monitor your services. Like I saw,
really?
I saw an ad for it, and the ad is, are you sick of all those free trials that end up charging you? You sign up to this and basically link it to your bank account, and it's like, easily unsubscribe from all the stuff. But
right. So I'm trying to figure out how to get off. I'm thinking of buying a new computer. What are you guys laughing at? What's going on over there?
Dustin said that's because most millennials don't know how to operate their bank account. And
right.
You and Leo kept going, and I go, "Oh, it's the Larry and Leo show." I love this.
I heard him. I was gonna get back to him once Larry was all set.
The other day, and I said something about a checkbook. He said, "What's a checkbook?" Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Oh my!
I'm kind of in that bag, even though I'm not a millennial. I'm in that bag. I've been working so much, trying either auditioning or getting jobs or trying to remember lines, that I don't have time to do human things, that ordinary people do, like take care of my bank account or stuff like that, and you lose track. So, yeah, but it's mounting up to where I'm becoming aware of it. And when you're aware of it, that means you're overboard on that stuff. So I'm trying to school myself into some sort of normal behavior. But I think everybody is doing it. I mean, yeah. If you're not in show business, you're on the internet. You're Zooming. You're SteamYarding. You're doing your own podcast. I mean, it's. If the electric grid goes down, we're effed, man. Totally.
Unless you're really good, like we are, and we can operate with smoke signals. So we'll still be coming at you live.
Okay. I mean, I never thought of that, but
we'll do it.
Yeah, and if the wind shows up, you're screwed again.
Well, instead of broadcasting to all of New York, we'd be broadcasting to like Omaha, Nebraska.
Or anybody across the valley, or across the mountaintop. But look, if that happens, and that really happens, and I don't doubt that it will, or that it won't. But if that happens, somebody's going to come along and figure out how to get wind to blow your smoke away, and unless you pay them $10. I mean, they'll figure out how to monetize smoke and wind.
You're absolutely right.
I'm telling you, man. There's people out there already studying that.
I think we should all start working on that now, and we'll.
Somebody is working on it, man. I started out. I graduated as industrial designer. I got a degree in industrial design.
Oh, nice.
So what they would do for your senior projects is they would contact all the big companies who needed design, and they'd say, well, what are you working on for the future? We'll give it as projects to students. We'll send you, any solutions that they have, but we're certainly not going to steal anything. So we'd get these, cars mainly, future cars. We would get projects like design a 2025 car. And we would, design it and send them in. And then as a thank you note, they would send us one or two of what they're really working on, 2025, And no matter how hard we tried as students to, get out there and think about we never could come up with what those guys were being paid to work on. I mean, they were way ahead of us. And we're students, we're supposed to be so hip and, creative. No, they're like Ford and Oldsmobile. We could never beat them at designing or any other kind of product. So if you want to design smoke and, wind machines, they're already working on it. They're way ahead of us,
Oh, of course.
It's amazing.
I think
you can't beat them. You just can kind of go along.
Because they have nothing better to do.
True.
Yeah.
Who's got nothing better to do? Well, we do, but they also don't have anything better to do. And now there's a lot of my friends that I graduated with, industrial design, they went to Ford and Detroit. They are and spent their life designing. So I would see them every once in a while, just, oh, hey, what are you doing? Because I was in show business, I was totally cut off. And they were designing stuff that was way in the future, way ahead of all the students. But they all were bald and having heart attacks and were getting divorced. I mean, it screws with your life, the industry. And all that stuff. So you could be inventing, wind and smoke machines to, monetize it, but you're going to suffer for it,
Right.
Well, I think what you guys are doing is fine. It's just, you're doing what you want to do.
Well,
that's the whole ball of wax. Doing what you want to do.
Exactly.
Well, doing what you kind of want to do and having fun doing it.
And having fun doing it, and also being able to pay your rent doing it.
Well, yeah. Paying the rent's always nice.
Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, it's the best thing. I'm telling you, it's better than being creative. Paying your rent every month is such a holiday. Whew. God, I lived in my car for a year, so you want to talk about paying rent. Yeah, it's a pleasure being able to do that. Yeah,
right. But a lot of hard work went into you being able to pay your rent.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with not being able to pay your rent is not good. But once you're not being able to pay your rent and solve that, which is what my situation was, well, I live in my car, so that solved that. But once you solve that, and I'm living in my car, then you think, well, then the rent problem is solved, and you start to live in your car as that's normal. In other words, you don't think about living in a house. You're thinking about how to live in your car well. You start to fix your car up so you're cool. No, man, you're living in your car. You're living in your car. What do you've got, those little, what are those automatic digital things? Turn on the television. What are those called?
Oh, like Alexa or
Electra, yeah. So you're living in your car and you got Electra. Electra, turn the car on. No, man. What you think that's it?
When you lay on the back and look up, do you have a nice shag carpet?
Yeah, right. So I mean, there's always a problem in the solution, is what I'm saying. There's no end to it. You solve it, but that becomes the problem of living in your car. And then, of course, when I was living in my car and somebody stole my battery while I was away trying to make some money, somewhere for a meal or catch a meal or taking a shower in somebody else's house, you come back and your battery's gone and it's Tuesday and that's no parking. You got to move it on Wednesday. How am I going to move my car? So there's another problem. My house. I can't move my house. They're going to tow my house away. I mean, and you got to worry about that. I got to get back in time before somebody steals my guitar. I missed it. So I'm missing my guitar, my battery. They've stolen my house. They've towed away my house. And then in the middle of the night, you're sleeping and you hear rain and it's so nice. And it's not rain. It's a drunk pissing on your back wheel. I mean, it doesn't stop, man. It doesn't stop.
Well, folks, you really
talk about rent.
You really tuned in for a great show tonight, man. Larry's telling us all about having drunks peeing on his tire while he's living in his car. This is great. I love this. You can't get this.
Hey, I lived it. It's not you. Oh yeah, you loved it.
I loved it. You lived it.
I lived it.
And that's just a little taste of some of the memoirs that he's writing.
I'm writing a book about it. So it's on the top of my mind all the time. When I'm finished with this, that's what I got to do. Or I'm writing screenplays in my spare time, or a screenplay.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Leo, where can they find out more about this amazing guest we have?
Well, if you check the show notes, you can find them up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And quick question for you, Larry. Maybe not a quick question, but with close to 200 IMDb credits, and you mentioned you're getting these random royalty checks. What is a royalty check that you've received that you're like, holy crap, I don't remember even being in this?
Oh, I get those all the time. Those are the ones where you get like $4 or $53. A big check for the obscure one. Somebody just told me the other day, heart to heart. I did a heart to heart. I didn't know that until yesterday. I got a fan mail on Facebook saying, "Hey, I just saw you on Heart to Heart. You played a cop." Really? Okay.
He's like, I did that?
I did that. No, and I get them all the time, like these obscure ones. I don't remember. The fans tell me that. And then, of course, the popular ones, Breaking Bad and Seinfeld and Friends and blah, blah, blah. But there's 100 of those. I think it's 185 now of the things on. I would say that 100 of them I don't remember, or I mean, you'll say the name and then I'll remember it. But if you say, I don't know. Oh, I did that. Oh yeah, right. It's amazing because I don't, like I say, I don't follow myself. I'm busy doing other things. So when I do a podcast and these guys or girls, the podcaster, they say, well, you did this. I go, I did? Wow, man. That's how I keep up, by doing a podcast.
Oh, so we should have just started at the beginning and read everything you've done.
Yeah.
No. I can't take it. No. Don't.
I'm just kidding.
No, I give. Okay.
Look at, we got him to give. Oh, yeah. Do we have some commercials to run real quick?
We do, and I'll play them right here. So if I can find the right button. So definitely, we urge you to follow Larry. He has a Patreon. He has some cool stuff coming on, some current projects. If you're a fan,
can I tell you about my website?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Website. TheRealLarryHankin.com, and I got all my stuff on it, all my films, all my T-shirts. These two paintings right here are on T-shirts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I got 40 T-shirts, 40 different designs. They're really great. So all that stuff is on TheRealLarryHankin.com, and Patreon is going up, I think, in 2 weeks. So
awesome.
All right, that's my commercial.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I do have that link in the show notes. So, if you have issues, spelling his name, or you remember like a day from now, just come back to the show. Check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening. I got the link right down on the bottom. All you got to do is click. But also, a couple things we got going on is let me find it here. Where the hell is it? So now is the time to get back to movies. A lot of awesome movies. Suicide Squad comes out this week, and why not go to the Prospect Theater? Here we go.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
And also, if you love this show, definitely check the show notes, and you can support Still Token with by checking out episode 1, which is available right now on Vimeo.
If your world was turned upside down, what would you do?
What the fuck are we gonna do now? Get high?
We are the watching. We are the waiting. We are the remnant, host of vengeful souls forsaken. We'll show no mercy. We'll show no kindness. We'll strip your flesh and leave your captive bones behind us. We are the uninvited. From Moses, if you dare, we would be so delighted. We are the uninvited. From Moses, if you dare, we would be so delighted for the chance to find you in despair. We are the uninvited. From Moses, if you dare, we would be so delighted for the chance to find you in despair. Despair, you're often in despair.
It was more fun that way.
And like I said, you can find the links in the show notes up above or down below. And I brought it up real quick, talking about Larry's shirts.
Nice.
Yeah, you got the.
That's just one. It's a silver.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're more. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Thank you guys. Look at that.
Welcome.
Wow, that's amazing. Gee, I got to get one of those. Oh, by the way, if you wear one of these T-shirts and take a picture, we'll put you up as a model on the website.
Very cool.
So if you buy a
Don't
T-shirt,
threaten me with a good time like that.
yeah. So you wear the T-shirt, get a picture of you wearing it in any place you want, and we'll put it up. We already have. We just started that today.
Nice.
Well, actually, yesterday.
So do we have this website in the show notes, Leo?
TheRealLarryHankin.com.
We do.
Thank you. Yeah, because when we went to commercial break, I had to run to the little boys' room, and then Dustin ran to the little boys' room, just in case you needed to know where everybody keeps disappearing to. I love that.
I'm for that. If you have to go to the bathroom, go ahead. Don't worry about me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The show will wait. Trust me.
Okay.
Talking about IMDb, just real quick, some of the classics you've been on that mean something to me. Definitely the movie The Jerk. Which is phenomenal.
Right, sure.
Laverne and Shirley Benson.
Laverne and Shirley. She discovered me.
Really?
She got me down to Hollywood. She came up to San Francisco. I was on a show, and she said, "Get that tall guy. He's a physical comedian. I want to do it." It was the Laverne. See, some of the ones I really actually know a lot about. Like the Laverne and Shirley show, she wanted to. It was they were doing to have a prom. Laverne and Shirley were going to a prom. That was the episode, prom night. So Laverne, Penny Marshall, wanted a date she could dance with and do funny shtick with, physical humor and dancing. So she said, "Get this tall guy Larry something up there in San Francisco. Get him down here. We want him in the show. She sent me for me. I got down there, and that's how I got an agent, and I started to work, and I never went back to the committee. I just stayed down there. So thank you, Penny Marshall. She's passed on now, but she's a funny lady. She was, and I thank her for getting me down here.
Laverne and Shirley, I mean, I'm old enough to remember it because I watched it a lot. That
me
was
too.
one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, with what is it? Squiggy,
Lenny and Squiggy,
Lenny and Squiggy, and so I watched. That was probably the last really regular watching, except for Mary Hartman, that I ever watched regularly.
Mary Hartman. Wow.
Oh, that was a great show. I would leave a party to watch Mary Hartman.
Your time, young man.
Yeah. These young kids.
I had Bill put the light in here so you didn't see the gray as much. But see, I mean,
but hey, look at this. So no, but that Mary Hartman, I would actually leave the wildest party to go watch Mary Hartman. That was a funny show. That was clever. That was really cool. Back in the day.
I know the name.
Little tidbit of information: Laverne and Shirley was actually a spin-off of Happy Days.
Really, I didn't know that. I watched Happy Days too. Yeah. I never was on that. But
watch Happy Days.
I have a lot of funny stories about all those things.
Oh yeah.
They were crazy times.
Totally.
That was my youth.
If you folks want to learn more about some of those crazy stories, we suggest you head over to Larry's Patreon. He's doing you're writing a book about, what is it?
Yeah, I'm writing a memoir. What is it? They're calling it a memour, but it's a biography.
Yes, you're writing your memoirs.
Biography, just about my show. I'm dyslexic. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you noticed that, but I'm dyslexic, and so I'm looking for a title. Maybe Dyslexic in People Land is what I'm thinking. So it's just because when you're dyslexic. Mainly on the set, it's not that I don't understand things, it's that I understand things a little too well. I generally get two answers to any one question. I can see both sides of whatever you're asking me, and I figure I have a 50% chance of answering it right or well, so I don't bother thinking about it. I just blurt out an answer, and I either get it totally wrong, which on some sets lead to very funny situations, or sometimes I get fired and then rehired because they go, hey, wait a minute, here's the expression you want to hear, he's not shot out yet, we can't replace him, we'll have to start all over. You know that situation?
Right?
On Escape from Alcatraz, I got really pissed off at Clint Eastwood and I walked. We had it's a long story, but what he did was, Don Siegel, who directed that movie, is a great director. I really respected him, and I respected Clint Eastwood too. And I was Clint Eastwood's sidekick through the whole movie, and so I was on in practically every shot that Clint Eastwood was in. I was in too, even if I didn't say anything. I was just standing there, and after every shot, Don Siegel would come up to him mainly the first shot, and he'd go, how's that for you, Clint? And Clint would say, that was okay for me. And then Don Siegel would say, okay, we're moving on. Boom. But he would never talk to me. They would I wasn't there. They just talked to themselves, at each other. And I was getting a little pissed off because, hey man, I'm here, I'm an actor. And once I get on the set, see, my adjustment is, once we get on the set, you could be Clint Eastwood, but you're another actor to me. It goes away. Right. So I'm just thinking he's another actor, and he's not talking to me. He's only talking to this other actor. That's what was getting me mad. So Clint Eastwood would say, that's fine. Let's move on. So one time Clint Eastwood said, that was fine for me. And I decided fine because I was on there for 3 months. That was a long movie. Right. So I was, after about a month and a half, I was getting really PO'd at being ignored every day. No direction whatsoever. By the way, he didn't give me any direction, Don Siegel, ever, because he wanted me to be without direction. That was the character he wanted me to play. And so, but I didn't know that. He didn't tell me that, but that's what was going on. But so I was getting madder and madder, and he was thinking that was fine. Whatever Larry is doing, I'm getting it on camera, and that was cool. So finally, after a month and a half of being ignored, I said, after Clint Eastwood said, that's fine with me, let's move on. And it was the first take. Clint Eastwood does not like to do 2 takes. He will not. He wants to know why. if he wants to do another take, if Don Siegel, and they worked on a lot of movies together, they knew each other, and he'd say, why are we doing this again? And Don Siegel would have to explain, well, the camera, there was a jiggle or one of the lights blew. So it was a technical thing. And he'd say, okay, fine, let's do it again. But he just wanted to know why we're doing this. So he comes over and he said, is that okay for you, Clint? And Clint said, yeah, it's okay for me. And I finally piped up and I said, yeah, well, listen, I'd like to do it again. I can do it better. And Clint Eastwood just looked at me and he said, yeah, well, I can. And he walked away. And everybody just broke up. There was, and I said, oh, man. And I was in the barrel because it was his crew. When the crew laughs at you, that's no good. Because once they see you're the fool, they are relentless, man. They will not let you off the hook. That's being in the barrel. That's your fuck. So I knew that immediately. I'd been on a month and a half. I saw what they do to other, day players, and they were starting. Or they would play tricks on me. And I thought, no, I can't take this. Another month and a half. So I was trying to figure out how to get out of the barrel. I was trying to, and I was staying up at night, trying to think, I can't take another day of this. I'll quit, And finally, I just, luckily I used to be an improv. Sometimes an idea comes and you just blurt it out without thinking. I'm on the set and Don Siegel comes up to Clint Eastwood and he says, it was like 5 or 6 days after he had walked on me, and now I was in the barrel. And he comes up and he says, how is that for you, Clint? And I to this day, I don't think Clint Eastwood knew that he was saying exactly what I had said 5 days ago. But he said to Don Siegel, he said, well, I'd like to do it again because I think I can do it better. And I said, well, I don't think I can. And I walked, and there was dead fucking silence on the set, man. However, we were on Tier C. Now, Tier C is a long thing with a drop-off of 30 feet. It's the third tier, and there's this just long thing, and then the cells are off that. They were shooting at this point. They were shooting into a cell. So the camera was hanging out over the precipice. He was hanging out over the thing, shooting in, and all the crew and everybody was standing on this side of the camera. So if I had to walk away out of the scene, I had to walk that way, down that way, and they were at the short end. The door was right here. The other door was about 100 feet down the other end. And I said, and I'm walking, and there was dead silence, and the only place I could walk was 100 feet down the other end. And I'm walking, and there's dead silence behind me. And I thought, well, I'm fired. Okay, fine, I don't care. I'm up to here, I'm out of the barrel, I don't care. And I'm walking and the door is getting further and further away. And I want to get out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. And finally, as I got to the door, Clint Eastwood said, hey, Larry, come on back, man. Hey, come on. And then everybody laughed and I turned around and he said, it's okay. So then I was out of the barrel. I mean, once Clint said I was okay, then the crew just left me alone. And now I had raised up now. Now they were afraid of me. I was buddies with Clint. And so I stuck with that. I hung next to Clint, even when he always ate with the extras. There's 200, prisoners who just were prisoners. They were just extras. He always ate with them. He never went to his cabin or to his Winnebago, or he always. And here's a piece of trivia about Clint Eastwood that nobody knows. I've never heard it. He is a savant of Lear's limericks. How he'd entertain, because they'd always ask him questions and stuff. I was eating with them, and I always ate with him. So the crew always saw me with Clint. But he would. They would say, well, they would give him a topic like a shaving mug. Do you know a Lear's limerick? And he would just, right off the top of his head, he would do a Lear's limerick. Now, I don't know if he was making them up or they were real Lear's limerick, but he was never stumped. I was with him for a month and a half, just eating lunch with him. And, who knew? Where does that come from? He was never stumped. They would be throwing these lines at him. They try to stump him. Trivia, that was all. But at least I got out of the barrel. That was the important thing. And then, but Don Siegel would always put me on. But he was always putting me on because he wanted to keep me in that role. He wanted me to keep me off balance and catch it on camera. One time he says, And Clint always just wanted to put me on because I was just stupid. I was very naive. It was the first movie I was doing, so I didn't know,
Right.
I mean, now I would never get fed up if Clint Eastwood said, I wouldn't walk. I would just put up with it, So the Clint bet me in the Escape from Alcatraz. When they escape on the roof, they're going to escape, and so they were up on the roof, and and there's a jump across it from one building to another. And the whole point of what was written was they jumped across. That's on the script.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty far, and Clint likes to do his own stunts. So there was a big battle about, should we have Clint jump that far? Is there any other way to get around them escaping by going over? And there was a pipe down one building. They said, well, he could shinny down the pipe. Maybe that would be better. So that's what they decided to do. But I wasn't in the scene, but I went up there to watch him shoot it because I didn't know what Clint was going to do. So I wanted to see, is he going to jump or what are they going to do? So I went up there and I'm looking over the edge, just while they're setting up the camera, and Don Siegel hadn't shown up yet. So I'm looking over the edge and I'm looking how far it is, and I'm going, wow, I don't know if anybody can jump this. So I don't know what they're going to do. I didn't know there was a decision. And he goes, you think you can make it? And I turn around and it's Eastwood. He's standing behind me and he's saying, you think you can jump that? And I figured he's jumping, he's putting me on, he's kidding around. So I said, yeah, sure. I'm kidding around. He goes, I bet you can. And he's like dead serious. So I think he's still putting me on. I go, sure. So I bet you $10 you can't do it. Yeah. Well, he's Clint Eastwood. He has no barrel thing. He'll put, he'll do what he wants. Yeah, I mean, if he sees an opportunity, he's going to put somebody on. So he saw the opportunity. I'm standing there over it, and I'm judging. And he goes, $10. And I go, okay. I'm thinking this is a put on. I'm going to go along with this, And he goes, okay, let's see you do it. Now the crew hears this, and they start to stop what they're doing, and they see, oh, Clint Eastwood's got the guy again. So now they start to stop, and they're starting to gather. All right, what's Hankin going to do? And I think it's a joke. So Clint says, hey, what's going? Hankin's going to jump. Now I get frightened. I thought, well, the joke has gotten bigger. Now I got to go along with it. It's still a joke. I'm looking for a way to top Clint. That's what I'm doing. I'll go along with it until I find a way out. It's like rappers, they're cutting each other. And then he says, okay, stand around. And then he moves back and he says, give him some room. And I'm, pretending, and I'm getting back, getting ready to run. And Clint is saying, no, give him some room. And he's backing them up. And I'm going, holy fuck, man, I can't get out of this now. What do I do? And I knew I couldn't make it. I mean, I just knew that. But I refused. That's my one thing. I don't give in.
Right.
I'll wait for luck to happen or something, but I'm not giving in. And finally he goes, and now he's standing by the edge. Everybody's back. He's standing by the edge, so I'm kind of going to run by him. And he's going, okay. And he's looking down and he's, okay, go ahead, $10. And I'm thinking, well, he can't even stop me. I'll be running so fast. If he thinks he's going to, stop me at the last minute, that's not going to work. So now I don't know what I'm going to do. Right. And I'm ready to run. And thank God, Don Siegel now arrives with his entourage of, note takers and writers and shit. Comes up and he says, hey, what's going on? I thought you're setting up, the set. It's not set. It's not ready for him. He says, what the fuck is going on? And the crew is saying, hey, Clint Eastwood bet Larry Hankin's going to jump across that thing. And Don said, what are you, crazy? And he runs over, he says, he can't make that. And he looks at me, he says, you going to jump this? And I go, yeah. Still kidding around. I mean, I know I can't jump. I go, yeah. And he turns to Clint Eastwood and he starts hollering at Clint. He says, what the fuck are you doing, man? He's going to jump? He can't make that. What is he going to do? He's going to fall down? He's going to kill himself? We got to call a boat or an Alcatraz? You know how we just have to shut down? He's not shot out, so we have to shoot his part all over again? You know what that's going to cost me? He says, we can't do that. You're not jumping over. Clint, you just get back in there. We'll get ready to shoot this. Start up. And he stopped. I didn't know what to do. But that's what goes on those sets when you have dyslexia and you're just stupid and you just refuse to give in because you think, heaven will protect me. I mean, I didn't know what I would do, but I thank God Don Siegel showed up and he really got angry. I mean, he was flat out mad.
Did Clint give you the $10 though? Did Clint give you the
Nobody, Clint Eastwood still thinks that I was going to jump. I mean, he never brought it up. I mean, it was never brought up again. It was just, that's the other thing. Once you do something and there's a mistake or there's a fuck up on the set and they fix it, it's never brought up. That's like a rule, man. And I've been on a lot of sets. If anything happens that's wrong, or if you're not fired then, they don't bring it up again unless you're in the barrel, unless it's a joke and everybody can make fun of this person. But if it's a serious thing, they don't talk about, hey, you're a fuck up, man. That's just not done. I know why. I mean, they're trying to make a movie, and if you bring that bullshit onto the camera,
right,
it's going to ruin it. So I thought that was a kind of a great rule on sets. No carryover. To real mistakes. If you screw up a shot, like sometimes they would have something I'll tell you exactly one. In Escape from Alcatraz, they made the artist, the old guy. I don't know, but there was an old guy who was a painter in Alcatraz, and the warden took away his paints as punishment, and the guy was crazy, and he said to somebody, if I can't paint, I don't need my hand. And so when he was in the shop, he cut off his hand on camera. Wow. That's how crazy he was in the story. So the prop department made 2 fake hands past the elbow. So there was a close-up shot, and they had 2 of them. And the actor whose hand it was, supposedly in shop, he got an axe, and then you see the cameras on his hand, and he chops his own hand off and bleeds maybe to death. So they wanted to get it, and I remember and I wanted to see that, and I was in the shop. So the director came to the actor, Robert Blossoms was his name, came up to Robert Blossoms and he said, now look, you're going to have to cut your hand. They're going to see you with the axe, but they won't see you in the shot. They'll just see the hand. Do you want to cut it off, or we'll get, a crew member or somebody else? No, Robert Blossom said, no, I want to cut my hand off. I want to do it on camera. So they gave him the axe, they put the hand down, and then everybody went silent because each one of these hands cost about $2,000 each to make. So this is like no joke. I never saw on 3 months, the set was that silent. So he puts it down, they get the camera ready, and they say, okay, Robert, you ready? And Robert says, yeah, right. And Robert puts his hand down, he takes the axe, and he cuts it off, and he misses, but he only cuts off 3 fingers, and it was supposed to cut off the wrist. He just missed, man. He cut off these 3, and all of a sudden the director yells, cut, and there's just silence, man. I mean, this was a big F-up, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And there was just silence, and everybody didn't know what to do. And then they took the other, and they said, well, we got another one. But Robert Blossoms just put down he felt awful, man. I mean, he just, he put down the axe and he just backed away. And nobody would look at it. Nobody, they just dealt with the problem, which was kind of polite. That they didn't want to do any more damage to his brain than already been done, really. So they backed away, and then the director said, all right, because everybody was uptight now. And he said, who wants to cut the arm off? The director said that to everybody standing around. He said, well, look, somebody's got to cut it off. Who's going to cut off the arm? And nobody said anything. Because this is the last one, man. Right. It was a really important. And finally, Clint says, okay, I'll do it. Just like Clint Eastwood. He was now being Clint Eastwood. He said, okay, give me the axe. Yeah. So he picked up the axe, and everybody just silent, standing around. And he goes, okay. And now Clint was directing. Even Don Siegel backed away. And he said, okay, is the camera ready? And he was like, really a lot of, adrenaline. I mean, he was talking loud, and he said, okay, everybody ready? And just, it was weird. He said, all right, is everybody ready? Is this in focus? We're going to do this once. Okay, everybody shut up. And he just went up like this. He went, bam, perfect, Clint Eastwood, perfect shot. But nobody, and Robert Blossoms had about at least a month to go. It was never brought up. It was never mentioned. And I've seen other screw-ups, not as bad as that one, not as expensive as that one. And the same thing, it was bad. They had to, send out. Sometimes they had to send out or do it the next day while they fixed it. Never brought up. So, it's maybe it's the same in all kinds of businesses. They all kind of leave somebody alone or get on somebody. But it's a group effort, and they take from the manager or the director.
Kind of like
But making movies is kind of interesting. Nobody tells those kind of stories. That's why I think they're interesting. They all talk about show business stuff.
Right.
It's just stuff that happens that are one-offs. They never happen again. And that's the thing that I remember about each thing. The weirdness that happens that makes that show unique, but it never happened in any of the other shows. Some shows, like Heart to Heart, the reason I don't remember it is because nothing happened. I auditioned, I went in, I did my part, nothing happened, and I went home. You look for your next job. But there's certain ones.
So what was one of your most memorable shows?
Well, that was a big one because it was my first show, and a lot of big things happened because it was big stars. I was, so the imprinting was amazing. On working with great directors is one. Working with John Hughes, I did Annie. Now again, I just wanted to audition for the man. I never thought I would get the part. He said, hey, they're doing Annie. Get down there. I don't want to. It's all out in the valley. It's just a one day. Yeah, well, it's John Hughes. John Hughes, holy cow, yeah, I'll audition. There was 5 lines or something. But, so it was kind of below my pay grade, but John Hughes, I'll do anything. I work for free.
Right.
So I went there, and 2 things he did that were just amazing, but that all great directors just do one thing you'll remember for the rest of your life. Not the same thing, but he did 2. One was in the audition when I came in. I had long hair, much longer than this. I was a hippie. My hair was down here. I go in, I'm auditioning for the dog catcher, and since it's John Hughes, and he had the premier casting directress woman of Warner Brothers. So, the top, so she was like as big as John Hughes is for his job. So she says, Larry Hankin, you're next. So she brings me in, and he's on the set, John Hughes, and he's watching his rushes, in the TV Village. He got the big screen, and he's watching like this, totally into it. And as he comes up, he says, oh, and she said, and she takes me by the shoulder. She gets behind me, and she takes me by the shoulder, and she guides me right directly in front of him. And he goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? And she goes, I'm just positioning him so you can look at him. Don't touch my actors, please. I go, wow, man, little respect, cool. So yes, wow, man, don't touch my actors. All right. So then she backs off. Now she's just standing there. It's like the head of Warner Brothers casting. She's standing there, He goes, Larry, right. So he said, you want to do the part? You know the part? Did you read the part? Yeah. And he said, I'm not going to read you. I just want to talk to you, see if you, And he says, you have to get into a costume. You're going to arrest Annie's dog. It's a very small part. You still want to do it? Yeah. And then she goes behind me again, and very delicately, not touching me, but she takes my hair, because it was down to here, and she goes like this from behind, and she holds it up, like this, like in a ponytail, back up like this. He says, what are you doing? What are you doing now? And she says, I'm holding his hair up because he's going to have to get his hair cut off. He's have to have a short haircut. He's the dog catcher. And he says, please do not touch my actors. I am a director. I have imagination. I can picture it. Do not touch my actors. She backs off and says, thank you, Larry. Thank you, Gladys, or whatever her name is. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Gladys. Thank you. That'll be all, Larry. And she just about was going to grab me, and she backs off, and she says, follow me. And I followed her out. So that was great. I said, okay, I don't care if I get the job. I respect, don't touch my actors. Wow. Until then, I didn't know I was an actor. I was just trying to be one. I didn't have the job, and it was. Okay, now I'm on the set. 5 lines. I have my hair cut off. I'm cool. Show up for the job. And now I learned something in acting. And that is, if you show up before, is it okay that I'm taking up any time, or are we cool?
Oh, totally cool. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so
Are you having fun?
No, I'm great. This is, out of my life. I'm just telling you that when I showed up, and I know from doing now at this point in my life, I've done enough shows to know that this is a fact, and you can use it. That if you show up before your costume is put in your Winnebago, in your dressing room, wherever your dressing room, if your costume is in your dressing room, that's it. You're married to that costume. You have to put it on. There's no question. But if your costume is not in the dressing room, that means they haven't decided yet. So you can go into the costume room department, and you can help pick out your costume. And I've done it many times. So that's what I did. I show up for the dog catcher, and I said to the AD, as soon as I show up my first day, I said, is my costume in my dressing room? He says, no, it's not there yet. I said, great. Where's the costume department? He says, over there. I said, great, thank you. I know where my dressing room is. So I immediately went to the costume department, and I said to the guard, whoever's guarding it, I said, where's the costume for Annie? She says, it's over there. I said, I'm the actor for the dog catcher. I want to just check my costume. Okay, that's over there. And they have your costumes on a rack. And each actor has all of the choices on his rack. So it says dog catcher. There's about 10 or 15 choices. So I'm going through it, and all of a sudden there's a guy standing next to me. And he says, who are you? I said, I'm the dog catcher. I'm just checking my costumes. It's okay. I asked the costume department. They said, it's okay. He says, I have your costume. So I thought, okay, what is it? So he reaches around on the table, and he gives me this. It's a square that looks like a square piece of cardboard that's 3 inches thick and 15 inches square. But it's a costume. It's a costume. It's a, a garage mechanic, those blue things they put on? Okay, yeah. It's that washed, starched, folded, and ironed. And that's what it looks like, a piece of cardboard. And he says, this is the dog catcher's uniform. Here, put it on. And I wouldn't touch it. So I say, no, I can't put that on. He goes, why not? Well, because it's folded, it's starched, it's clean. I'm a dog catcher in 1937 in the Bowery. I mean, I'm catching mongrels all day. It's got to be filthy. He says, this is what you're wearing. I said, I'm not wearing that. What, are you kidding? He goes, if you're not putting it on, we're going to go to see Mr. Houston. I said, fine. I'm thinking, don't touch my actors. He's on my side. I got this. He says, really? He said, well, I'm not putting it on. I don't care who you take. He said, you're going to be fired. It's fine with me. Let's go. And see, when I get, again, if I say I'm going to be fired, then I don't care, man. I just don't care. And that's serious. So I said, I don't care. Let's go. He says, fine. So now he's leading me. He's carrying it like a tray, like a silver tray. He's carrying it like this. Now, it rained the night before, but it's sunny out during the daytime, but it's outside, and there's puddles around, but there's clear paths that we walk. It's okay. Walk, and there he is. He's doing it again. He's in TV Village. He's watching, And he turns around, he sees us coming, and he said, George is the guy's name. He turns around, and he immediately groks the situation. He says, George, what's the matter? What now? He says, George, what now? And he says, well, and he comes up, and he says, oh, hi, Larry. So he remembered my name. Hi, Larry. George, what's going on? What's the matter? And George says, this actor will not put on his costume, this costume. And Houston turns to me and he says, is that right, Larry? I go, yeah. He says, why is that? And I say, because it's not filthy enough. I mean, look at it. It's starched. It's clean. It's washed. It's ironed. I'm a dog catcher. I can't wear that. George, give me that. Takes it, looks around, and he starts to unfold it. And he's shaking it out as he's walking away. And the one thing I noticed was he had expensive Italian loafers on, little gold buckles on them. And he's walking away, and he walks right into the biggest puddle he can find. And he takes it out, he shakes it, and he drops it in the puddle. And he walks in with his Italian loafers on. It must be, $200 a piece, at least. I don't know. And he starts walking all over this garage mechanics starch thing, and he's stomping on it, submerging it under the puddle. And then he very delicately, with these two hands, he reaches in and he picks it up, dripping wet, holds it far away from her, and he walks back to George, and he said, George, I want you to take this costume, dry it off, and put it on this actor. Thank you, George. Thank you, Larry. He turns back and he's back into it. And I thought, cool, man. Now this is why John Huston is John Huston. And the costume that I'm wearing in the movie that you see is the costume that John Huston stepped on in the puddle. And it's perfect. It's perfectly filthy. It's great. That's
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
That's
awesome.
John Huston, man.
Right.
That's what great directors do. They don't do that. They do the impossible or the thing you could never think of. That's why they are who they are.
Right.
You know, I'll jump across that if John Huston tells me to jump across. I'll jump across.
Right. So, Leo, where can people find out about this amazing guest tonight?
Well, certainly check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And the website's thereallarryhankin.com. Is that it?
Yeah, thereallarryhankin.com.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, thank
That's
you.
pretty badass. Yeah. I mean, I've enjoyed listening to these stories, and I want to learn more. So I might be following you on Patreon.
Well, cool, man, because that's what it all is. It's like 8 hours of me telling that kind of story. On each set has a different director or a different screw up of Larry Hankin because of dyslexia, you know. But they're worthy, you know, of listening to. They're good.
Well, absolutely. I mean, your credentials over the years. I mean, you've played so many things. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean,
but here's the thing. The thing is that as good or bad as I am in each one of those things, yeah, there's something that I have that I don't know about, and I try to be a good actor. I try to do the right thing, memorize my lines, hit my marks, don't bump into the furniture, and give your cues. I try to do that. But above and beyond that, there's directors who, the real great ones, don't give you directions. In other words, they see something that they want on camera, and they will do anything, the great ones, will do anything to get what they want on camera. It's not you, it's not personal, and it's not what they tell you. It's what they see in the TV village on camera. And that's what they're trying to get. And if they turn it, and they'll do anything to get that performance. And it may not be any direction at all. Larry David, the direction that he gave was incredible. That's the third one. Yeah, one more time for a short one, just to show the great directors. I showed you two. Here's another one. Totally different, but great. I'm on the set. Larry David just stands off on the side. He doesn't direct. He stands on the side. This is Seinfeld. He obviously does it for his show now too, but this is Seinfeld. Stands up to the side. And Tom is the traffic director. He directs the 3 cameras. He directs the actors. But Larry David is protecting the jokes and the funny, the writing. So he'll say, Tom, hold it for a second. I want to talk to Michael. So he goes up to Michael and he'll take you aside. See, a lot of directors don't. If they're going to tell you something, they'll just walk up to you like he does to Clint. Now he says, Clint, is that okay for you? Yeah, fine. Okay, moving on. No, Larry David will pull you aside, which is kind of nice, because if he's going to tell you something bad, it doesn't involve everybody else. So he calls you aside, tells Michael something, and he did that to each one. I was there for a whole week. So he whispers something, which is also nice. It's not for everybody. It's just for you. Okay, and he goes, okay, and then Michael goes back into the scene. You do this, he says, okay, Tom. Tom says, okay, and action. Michael does the scene again with everybody else, and Michael is 20 times funnier. God knows what he told him, but you go, oh, wow, man. So I see him do this to each one. He does it to Seinfeld. He does it to the girl. So I'm there the whole week, and he never talks to me. He's one of those directors. I understand. I respect him. He doesn't direct. He doesn't say anything. If he has something to say to you, he'll call you aside and whisper it. And you don't know if he's directing it or what he's giving you. I don't know. If he's giving a line reading or whatever. One day, I think it was the day that we were shooting, he says, Tom, hold it for a second. I want to talk to Larry. I go, oh man, I'm going to get the Larry David juice. He's going to make me funnier. He takes me aside. Oh, great. He says, okay. Now, I got to tell you, I do have a backstory every once in a while. I don't just show up. I think about it. So for Larry David's for the show for Mike, I was imitating Michael Richards, Kramer. I was imitating Kramer, but I had a backstory for Tom Pepper, who was the actor who was imitating Kramer. I had a backstory for him. And I was thinking, okay, I'll just go 0. I think Tom Pepper is passive aggressive, you know. I don't want to hear any more dried fruit. It's like passive aggressive. He doesn't hit anybody, but he has a. So I'm thinking, okay, 0. Keep it unless either be aggressive or don't do anything. Be aggressive or don't do anything. Nothing. Don't do anything. Buster Keaton, the great stone face. So I had Buster Keaton in mind while I'm doing Tom Pepper. Calls me aside, and Larry David whispers to me, I know what you're trying to do. Just like with that challenge, I know what you're trying to do. And the key word that got me was trying. You know, all of a sudden, again, I'm a professional. What do you mean trying? I'm either doing it or I'm not. That's what I'm thinking. And who are you to get this attitude? Either give me a direction or leave me alone, man. What is this trying? So I said to him, because again, you're on the set, you're another actor, you're another director, you're not Larry David. So I just said to him back immediately, I said, oh, really? What am I trying to do? And Larry David says, I'm trying to do nothing. Which blew me away because that's exactly what I was trying to do. So being pinned, you know, and I was ready to have a fight with him. And I would go, whoa. And I said to him, oh my God, that's what I'm trying to do. Just became like this little kid. Oh wow, that's right. Yeah, you are. That's what I was trying to do. So he says, well, you're doing something. And he walked away. And I thought that's the greatest piece of direction I've ever gotten. And that was it. So there's another great director. That's another, he set me up and then he just hit it out of the park. Right. And I just stood there knowing exactly what was going on, and I'd have to think. I mean, a great director is a great director, and there's no comparison with the other directors who give you direction and get a good performance and, you know, pick up their check at the end of the week and go home. Wow. I'm telling you, man, that's what I love about acting.
We've been speechless all night.
Oh, yeah.
We've literally been speechless all night. That doesn't happen often. Usually we have some sort of smart-ass comment.
Oh, well, okay, whatever. I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, I'm just telling you what happened.
No, I literally have been able to sit here and listen to you talk about these stories with some of the greats out there. I mean, you are one of the greats to us. So, you know, and to listen to these stories is just mind-blowing.
Right.
I was just talking to a director from the committee about 3-4 hours before I came on your show today. I had breakfast with him. So I haven't seen him in about 2 years because of the COVID thing and everything like that. And he's traveling and I'm traveling. So we were, you know, talking about old times, about the committee where I was an improviser for 10 years. And we were talking about directing and acting and the confluence of, you know, who's better and why one is better than the other. So he says, well, you know, the great directors don't the great directors don't direct as far as he knows, studying direct. And he was saying, you know, he said to me, you're one of the good people, the good actors that I liked directing, even though I said to him, yeah, well, you didn't really direct. You kind of sort of, you know, suggested, because in improv, you're up on the stage improvising. All they can do is say, do it again, but do it better, or maybe work on the cup thing. They don't give you directions.
Right.
They say, the cup thing looks like where there might be jokes. Explore the cup. And that's a direction, but, you know, it's not personal.
Right.
So... And I'm saying, well, yeah, I thank you for that. He says, but so you're one of the easier guys, one of the better actors that I had to direct. And I said, yeah, but the way you directed really helped me. I've done a lot of podcasts where looking back on what directors I had, with the podcasts I noticed, because I watch them all. And I said, I got to stop that. Because great actors also don't watch themselves. They hate watching themselves because they see their mistakes. They just want, move on, man. Don't look back. They may be catching up with you. That, that picture, right? Don't look back. They may be gaining on you.
Right.
So don't look back. So I said to him, I'm not going to look back. So he said, I said, well, but you were great. I'm watching these podcasters, and when I watch my performances, I noticed that if the podcaster, the interviewer, is a good interviewer, I'm a good interviewee. I'm great. But if the interviewer doesn't know who I am, or is a bad interviewer, then I'm not good.
Right.
So it's a conflict. It's not one or the other.
So You'll have
It's
to
a
send me an
frame. It's a
email.
frame.
You'll have to send me an email after you watch this podcast back and let me know if you were good or bad. So I don't.
No, I can feel it. No, no. I mean, I'm telling you because there's no judgment. There's no judgment, and I have stopped. I stopped about 2 or 3 weeks ago watching myself. It's just too much time.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half, and I got to write this screenplay. I just don't have time anymore. And also, I don't like being sucked into the internet. You get on the internet for 5 minutes to do something, and all of a sudden 3 hours are gone. What the hell happened? You just got sucked in. What the hell? So I stopped. No, I've learned. I'm just telling you the past.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't tell you if I thought you were going to, do that. Tell me what I did. No. You guys are great. If I have, it's flow. That's all. It's flow. You either have flow or you don't.
Oh, absolutely.
If I have flow, I'm flowing, and if I'm not flowing, it's not going well.
You flowed the whole show, man, and it was beautiful. I mean, I learned things about you that I wouldn't have learned, and I hope our viewers and listeners did too. But
I learned things about me too. I've never done this, so
I didn't know how this interview was going to go, and my wife says to me,
"Me neither." You just jump in.
She goes, "Make sure," because my wife's a huge Friends freak, huge Friends freak.
Oh, okay.
And she had to work tonight, and I'm in New York, and she's back in Massachusetts. She said, "Make sure you tell him he owes you a cat and a waffle." And I said, I'll tell him.
And an oboe. An oboe, a cat and a waffle. And tell her this: no butter, no syrup on the waffle, and no butter, no syrup on the cat. Okay?
Oh, Larry, you've been an amazing guest. But
Thank
Leo
you.
does run.
You guys are great. You guys are great.
So what I'm going to do is, Leo.
Yes, sir.
Do your thing, brother.
Yeah, I totally want you to check out the real Larry Hankin.
Real lanky Hankin, really?
Well, that's what they called me in high school, Lanky Hanky.
Lanky Hanky.
Yeah.
The real LarryHankin.com. I got it in the show notes, along with everywhere where you can follow Larry.
And these stories are on Patreon.
Totally.
When it goes on.
Well, they need to follow you in order to look for updates on when you're going to be starting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay.
And for me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. But, I do a lot of things. I run the Dorkening Podcast Network, where we have almost 40 shows on a network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. Matter of fact, we're going to be doing another show shortly. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Scarlett Johansson suing Walt Disney.
She's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Totally. So we're going to have a lot of fun on that show as well. And so, Larry, I know you're trying to avoid the internet, but when you're on it, where do you like interacting with your fans?
What do I like interacting?
Where do you like interacting with your fans? Do you like Facebook, Instagram?
I would like to interact with my fans. I don't know how to do it. Facebook, they just say hi. I don't write because it takes too much time.
Okay.
I just go, I say thanks or great or you're full of crap or whatever. But I would like to interact. I don't know how to. How can you interact with fans? I like to talk to them, find out what they have to say, because I'm interested in them.
Yeah.
Their lives. I'm a writer. But I don't know how to do that.
Well, you can, ask questions on your Facebook page, and I'm sure you'll
but
get...
if it's right, they can write to me,
yeah,
and say, hey, what? But I don't, I just give a one-sentence answer. I don't interact. I just kind of answer, and that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for interaction. Yeah. This, to me, is interaction. Right. So Zoom, that's why I was thinking of doing a podcast. Then you can interact. But I got so many things that I'm doing.
I'm going to throw it right out there, right to you right now. If you were interested in doing a broadcast type podcast show, that man right there is one of them to talk to.
Okay.
And that man over there, well, they're both on this side of me, but both of them,
Oh, okay. No, I will. But that and the cartoon thing of making what I talk like okay,
I'm gonna pass
the two stories that I just told you on your show, the Clint Eastwood and the other one, that could be a cartoon if you illustrated that with my voiceover of telling the story as you see it played out, like the Tig and the Taro show. She's talking and they're showing it. That's what I want to do with your guys. With the cartoon guys.
I could see that. I could see that.
Or just the regular interaction. Yeah. So contact me. I don't know how to contact you except through the internet. Okay.
Don't worry, I got his contact, but you know,
Okay.
I was told.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
By
I'm
my
very
source, not to pass
Okay.
it out unless he said to. So I will make
Okay.
sure that I get Leo in touch with you. I'll make sure that I get Dustin in touch with
Scoops.
you. Scoops. We actually all run together, so we're all.
Has anybody ever done that to you, Scoop? Scoop?
What?
He's giving you a hard time, and you're like, what?
Everybody gives me a hard time.
He's like, what happened?
And I give everybody else a hard time.
Yeah, okay. Why? Good. Yeah, good. No, in other words, you have to have a reason to give them a hard time. So you just bring it on, and then boom. Okay, I'm for Scoop. Scoop knows what's happening. Okay, cool.
Partially.
So when Leo closes the stream, just hang tight for a minute. Don't jump off until we come back on backstage real quick, if you don't mind.
Okay, cool.
So you know, for us, you know, we like people interacting with you. When people don't get us flagged and reported in the pages. Go ahead.
I can't talk about.
You don't like? Oh, you can't talk about where you like people interacting with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
It's
that's actually that's only
bathrooms and bedrooms.
Oh, that's only for. Oh, it's only for his wife. He said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's cool. No, that's good. That's fine.
That's because she's standing next to him. She's gonna beat him with a hammer.
You know, this is how naive I used to be. You know, when I went to Hollywood parties in the beginning, when I first showed up, I don't know, in my 20s, 25 or something, but my head was 16. I was very naive. So when in Hollywood parties, I go to Hollywood parties and they would disappear into the bathroom, and I always wonder what was going on. Drugs were going on in the bathroom. That's what was going on. But I would always, what are they doing in the bathroom? Well, if you have to ask, you're not going to be invited in there. Boom, you know. So that was, I stopped asking and finally got invited, you know. But that's in my youth. That's
He's like,
that's like saying, you know, my wife.
So anyway, that's great. I love it, dude.
Yeah.
You want to? Do I want
what?
Want?
No, I don't want any.
No, you don't want any.
No.
You don't want to tell people where they can find Scoops of Mischief.
I mean, I could.
You probably should, now that we're all partial owners of Hellfire Entertainment Media and Hellfire Radio.
You can find us at facebook.com/scoopsandmischief or over at www.hellfireradio.com.
Cool.
Hellfireradio.com.
That's your program? That's Scoop's program?
That's
what is
that? Yes, all of us up here, including Jeff that was here, and this young lady hiding off camera, are partial owners of Hellfire Entertainment Media and Hellfire.
Oh, cool.
Radio.
All right, fine.
Yeah. But for Jeff and I, you know, just go to stilltoking.com. You'll find everything you want to know about the comic books, to the live action, to awesome shows like this. Yeah. If you've missed a show like this and you want to rewatch it, all you're going to do is go to the website, go to season 1, season 2, or the podcast side of things, and just click on their picture.
Right.
That's it.
Cool, man.
Pretty simple. Yeah. So to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do every day. So people
thank you, man.
Like us.
Thank you both. Thank you all.
We do every day.
Leo, Ben, Scoop, and Larry. Thank you. Oh, that's me. Okay, fine.
Stay safe.
Okay.